And it's a good afternoon to the Gelding. Gelding, tomorrow we're at Flemington and we've got another afternoon Friday recording of That's Racing because this time I'm otherwise engaged tomorrow morning.
Good morning. Good afternoon, Professor, and good afternoon, listeners. Excuse me. Yeah, it's the Friday afternoon tipping, becoming a bit of a regular due to commitments. I was busy last week. You're a busy man tomorrow.
And you might be busy next week.
The following week,
Yes.
yeah. So we might have to be a Friday as well.
All right. Well, group racing remains at Flemington Gelding. The Australian Guineas being run tomorrow, the feature race. 10 race card, the first at 12:15, the last at 5:35. The tracks are good for. The rails are out only 2 metres this week. Now, Gelding, what was your observations from last week with the rail out 4 metres?
Well, they didn't really come near it, did they?
No,
So
there was a lot out in the middle of the track. I know that.
yeah. So look at Flemington. So I certainly I don't hold the same opinions of Flemington and Sandown as what I do with Caulfield and Moonee Valley, where rail position just seems to dominate the racing, and sometimes you've got to be in certain positions, otherwise it becomes unwinnable at Caulfield and Moonee Valley. Whereas Flemington, I think, sometimes it can favour horses on pace and things like that, but normally you get a bit of a fairer go there. So yeah, let's see how we go.
All right, Gelding, before we start, we should mention the passing of Michael Moroney during the week, the trainer of the 2000 Melbourne Cup winner, Brew, and had 55 Group 1 winners. A great career, Gelding, and sadly passed away during the week.
Yeah, and he has been crook for a while, Professor, but I saw him being interviewed last week at Caulfield, and he had a winner at Caulfield
Yes,
last week, and
another Group 1.
Yeah, and he was interviewed on the track, and he just said he was feeling a bit better and things like that. But yeah, suddenly passed away this week in his sleep. Fantastic trainer, apparently from all reports. Fantastic bloke as well. So it's a pretty good advertisement for someone when you don't hear many bad things being spoken about him, Professor. And that's especially in the racing game, which
Yes.
can bring, how do they say it, colourful characters to the game.
We've met a few of those colourful characters, Gelding.
Yes, we certainly have, Professor. And you see a lot more of those colourful characters in your profession.
Oh, well, yes, that could be correct, Gelding. It could be correct. All right, Gelding, what are your
and
two
half
best...
of them are in your profession, aren't they?
Well, I'm not going to say that, Gelding. I won't be drawn on that one. What are your two best bets for Flemington tomorrow?
Well, Professor, I thought I'd, knowing full well it's my turn for the bets, I thought, well, I better leave the early races alone, knowing you'd probably go for them, but I'll be interested to see. So I'm going race 8 and race 9, Professor. First of all, the Group 1 Australian Guineas. I'm going race 8, number 4, Angel Capital. You can get round about the $4 mark. A very, very good field and a very open race, the Australian Guineas, Professor. But look, this Angel Capital was sold during the week to Yulong Investments. So the way they're going at the moment, like anything they touch is just turning to gold. But after it won at Caulfield in the Autumn Stakes, excuse me, Yulong pounced and brought this colt. So I'd imagine they would have paid a fair amount of money, Professor, for it, looking for a Group 1. Already a Group 2 winner by Harry Angel. It's out of its 7 starts, it's won 4. They've kept it with their with the trainer who had it beforehand in Clinton McDonald, and kept the same jockey, Ben Mellum, aboard, not Joe Mellon, but Ben Mellon. Professor, in its last 4 starts, it's won 3 of them. The only blemish of that was a 6th at the Caulfield Guineas, and we know that was a track that very much favoured leaders, and of course the leader won that in private life. So, look, I think it can make up for it. Flemington's such a good even track. This horse gets back a little bit, but I would imagine it hopefully will be midfield and will be a good chance to continue on and hopefully win the $1 million Australian Guineas, Professor. Excuse me. Professor will then go to race 9, the English Sprint, which is a race just for horses brought at English sales. So a bit of a restricted race, worth $1 million. Going for a horse, race 9, number 7, Reserve Bank, trained by one of your past trainers in Michael Price and Mick Kent Jr. Professor, this horse, look, I'm going on its run. It's by Capitalist. I'm going on its run during the spring, Professor, on the 5th of October at Flemington. It was beaten a short half head by First Settler, also trained by Mick Price in the Danehill Group 2 over 1100, Professor. I think if it shows form like that in a restricted race, there's some good horses in it, but not as strong as that Group 2. I think Reserve Bank can win. It's drawn out wide, drawn in barrier 19. Big field, Professor, but look, I think it might suit horses coming down the outside over the straight 1200, Professor. So my 2 tomorrow are race 8, number 4, in Angel Capital, followed by race 9, number 7, Reserve Bank. Professor, both of them around about the 4-1 mark. Reserve Bank, you may get around about the $5. So hopefully good each way chances tomorrow. And you like, Professor?
Yes, Gelding, because you're putting on the bets, I'm going very early. I'm going in races 1 and 2.
Sure, of course. Did I expect anything different?
No. So in race 1 is the TAB. We're on stakes. Listed race for 2-year-olds over 1,000 metres. Gelding, I've gone for this one. Number 1, Shining Smile, coming out of barrier 4. It's had 5 starts for 3 wins and 2 placings. So a 60% win rate, 100% place rate. It's a Spirit of Boom colt, Gelding, and I think there's a fair bit expected of this, and it's expected to go on to bigger and better things. And I say that because its last race, it dead heated with Tentirus, which, would you believe it, ran second in the Blue Diamond Stakes. So let's face it, if it's that good a horse, it should be good enough for a listed race at Flemington in race 1. Go on, you were saying, Gelding?
No, look, agree with you completely, Professor. And the Hayes boys are having a fantastic, do a fantastic job with their 2-year-olds.
Yeah, they do, Gelding. You can't fault its form. It's won 3 out of the last 3. It's won over the distance. It's won at the track. So it's done everything that we would tick for the boxes. Daniel Stackhouse in the saddle. He's riding in career form at the moment, 11% for his career, but 12% over the last 50. And you were right about the Hayes brothers, Gelding. They're in a purple patch at the moment, 14% for their career, but 20% if you don't mind over the last 50.
Yeah, well, they're doing fantastic, Professor.
Yeah, and even with a horse of this form, Gelding, at current, you can get $2.50 at the moment and $1.28. I was surprised I could get $2.50 fixed at the moment.
Professor, it always starts at relatively good odds, surprisingly. A couple of first starters from the Hawks Yard and McAvoy yard. So I think Brydak's also got one, and Nick Ryan's also got one. So look, nothing like an experienced 2-year-old professor with winning form, though.
Exactly right.
Very hard to go past, and all of a sudden he's almost got 300,000 in the bank already, Professor. They're the horses you like, aren't they?
Yeah, I'd like to be part owning of that one, Gelding.
Oh, I would like to put my hand up for that one, yes.
All right, Gelding, my second selection's in race 2, the Racing and Sports 2000 Stakes. It's a benchmark 84 over 2,000 metres. In this one, I like horse number 2, Revelare, Gelding, coming out of barrier 10. It's had 7 starts for the very impressive 5 wins and a placing. So 71% win rate, 86% place rate. Gelding, it's ticking a few boxes for us there already.
Oh, Professor, just going through the grades beautifully here.
It is.
Up to a benchmark 84 after winning 2 benchmark 78. So, listen, as we well know, following some horses just win, and this may be one of them.
Yes, Gelding. So it's a So You Think Gelding.
Yes. Oh, thanks, Professor.
And it's one at the track and one over the distance. I did like its last race, Gelding. I was watching the film of the last race at the 200-metre mark. It looked gone. It had to almost hurdle horses to get over it, but somehow got out with 50 metres to go, Gelding. It went from a length behind to a length in front in 50 metres. So that sort of form looks very good. It's won its last 4 starts too, Gelding. So let's face it, Ryan Hurdle's in the saddle. He's in career form. 10% for his career, 16% over the last 50 and trained by Robert Hickmott. So you can get $2 and $1.24 at the moment, Gelding.
Professor, I like it. And as just what I said, what you just highlighted then, some horses are winners. Like it can get itself out of trouble and still win and go away. And this horse is probably the reason for Rob Hurdle's form going up. He's been on board this horse, and good to see Rob Hickmott not change the jockey for more better known jockeys or name jockeys when he keeps on riding this to wins.
Yeah, well, let me tell you, Gelding, there might have been a change in jockey if he hadn't have got out with 50 metres to go, because he was the favourite and it looked like he had no chance at all. So in any event, my 2 for tomorrow's racing is race 1, horse 1, Shining Smile, race 2, horse 2, Revelare. Now we'll turn to the very vexed question of the Professor's parlay, Gelding.
Professor, explain.
Well, Waderton.
What let us down?
Waderton ran 3rd, Gelding. The Oklahoma City Thunder beat the Utah Jazz. And
so, racehorse up.
Yes. Basketball up. Yeah. Soccer down.
Oh.
Arsenal 0, West Ham United 1.
Oh.
Yes.
What do we say to that, Professor?
That's soccer.
That's soccer. I thought we'd just say, oh dear.
Well, there were a few expletives between the O and the dear, Gelding.
Right. So do we move on from the soccer now?
Well,
I'll wait and see what you come up with.
Why don't you wait and see what I come? Anyway, Gelding, so we're 3 from 9, so we're back to 33%. So.
Well, and out of those letdowns, how many have been soccer?
2.
Rest my case.
Yeah, Gelding, without the soccer, we're 50%.
Oh, dear. Well, right. As I say, Professor, oh, dear.
All right, Gelding. So our agreed bet of the day tomorrow is actually in Sydney. Race 8, horse
Yes.
8, Via Sistina. Now, regale our viewers with why we've gone for Via Sistina tomorrow in Sydney.
Well, Via Sistina ran 3rd to Fangirl. And Fangirl is also in this race. James McDonald's back aboard Via Sistina, Professor. Nothing against Kerry McAvoy, who I think's an absolute fine jockey, but has been criticised the last couple of weeks for the way he rode a couple of horses McDonald was on. So McAvoy hopping off this horse. McDonald back on. I'm sure James will certainly won't be giving Fangirl such a big start as Karen McAvoy did last time. So hopefully Via Sistina can turn it around. Supposed to be a hot and muggy day up in Sydney tomorrow. So just be a bit careful, see how horses go with that. But yeah, Professor, look, it was the horse of the year last year. So no reason why it can't do it again. So let's go Via Sistina.
All right, Gelding, we'll parlay that into the Oklahoma City Thunder. They didn't let us down last week. I don't think they'll let us down this week to beat the Atlanta Hawks. Oklahoma City Thunder are first in the Western Division at the moment. They've won 3 out of their last 5. They've won 47 from 58, Gelding, so they've got a terrific strike rate. What I like, though, Gelding, is their average points against 106 is the second best in the NBA, so they're not allowing teams to score. They've won their only meeting against the Atlanta Hawks this year. Atlanta having a season they'd probably want to forget, 9th in the East. Only won 1 out of their last 5, Gelding. They've only won 27 out of 59, so it's less than a 50% win rate for them. The line, Gelding, the bookies don't like them, 12.5, which is a fair spread for the NBA.
Yeah, big spread.
And we'll parlay that into Gelding, the Premier League. We're dipping our toe into the Premier League again. I see a bewildered look from you there.
Oh, dear. Oh, dear. Yes, Professor. I have faith, I think.
Yep, I think. All right. So we're going for Liverpool at home, Gelding. They're on top of the Premier League to beat Southampton, who are stone motherless last. Liverpool have won 20 out of 28, Gelding. They've only had 1 loss for the season. They've only had 3 draws. So, the odds are with us. They've got a plus 40 goal difference. Southampton have only won 2 games for the year, Gelding. They've got a minus 46 goal difference. Let me tell you this, Gelding. The bookies, for a Southampton win, you can get $18.
Sounds like a killing to be made in the red hots with the soccer, Professor.
Yeah, and the draw is $11, Gelding.
And what happens if we draw, Professor?
We don't win, Gelding.
We don't win.
So we hope that Southampton don't score first and then park the bus.
Wouldn't happen, would it, Professor?
It wouldn't happen, Gelding. Anyway, so tomorrow's parlay, Sydney, race 8, horse 8, Via Sistina into the Oklahoma City Thunder to beat the Atlanta Hawks, into the Premier League, Gelding, Liverpool to beat Southampton.
Lovely. And when is the Liverpool game, Professor?
Saturday night or Sunday, very early Sunday morning, Gelding.
Okay.
So
I'm sure you'll keep me advised.
I will keep you advised, Gelding. I certainly will keep you advised. And I think, listen, I'm feeling that we might be in for a bit of good fortune for a change, Gelding. We've had a bit of, I don't like to talk about luck, but, just see the rub of the green seems to be against us. And I think things might change tomorrow. I've just got that feeling.
I'm with you, Professor. Got to keep going. There's no point. You can't lose faith.
No, we can't lose faith. All right, Gelding. Well, until next Saturday, and that's racing. It's good luck.
And good punting.